All right, we're good. We're good. All right, listen, guys. So, for the people that do watch this and pull up to the channel, hold on, let me give like a disclaimer. There may be cussing, there may be bad words, but really, I don't really think this video is gonna get much traction. But I mean, I've been seeing the fandom of My Hero Academia. I've been here. It's been like the What If series or whatever has been getting a little traction and shit. And people are missing some obvious what ifs. And like I remember one channel, he had like 100 subs and shit. And he went from 100 to 1K to 2K, not 2K, like 1,000, 2,000, there we go. So I'm making my video. I'm outside right now. So you don't even have to watch me talk or whatever. If you want to just have the background noise or whatever, so you don't feel lonely or whatever your reasoning is for it, go for it. If people do like this, I'll do it more professional, like where I'll be in an enclosed environment. You know, I'll crank out better content. But this is just kind of off the top, not necessarily scripted, but it's a what if that I've been wanting to do, or because people be missing it out. So the what if, judging by the title, it is what if Izuku Midoriya, or Deku for short, because that's what I call the nigga, Deku, the crybaby. What if he stayed quirkless? And now I know everyone's gonna be like, for the people that watch these types of shit, like, what? Everyone does this what if, like, this isn't an original what if, but the way I'm gonna do it will be. Cause I don't know why people are sleeping on this kid's hands. Like, everyone's always like, oh, he'll use equipment, he'll use this. So let me go ahead and stop talking and set the scene up for this good ass story. All right, so young Midoriya, he chilling, and this is the intro. This is when the shit just started. They like, he's like, guys, not everyone's born equal. But the difference, and the slight difference with this shit, right, is he's heroes, like who he admires and stuff. So this will change the whole dynamic. So this is right after he got folded. Oh, no. This is right when he tried to protect the one little kid getting bullied by Kachan. And, you know, his homies, that one fat kid with the wings and the other dude. So he's realizing he's a little bitch and he's quirkless. But instead of crying about being quirkless and stop, you know, bitching like, oh my God, I can't do shit. What he did was like, man, he was geeking about it, right? And then one day, he was walking down on the street like, who is that hero? This is why he's younger, not when he's older, because, you know, when he's older, he knows all the heroes and stuff. So he's like, who's that hero? And then, like, you know, older guy or some shit like, that's Eraserhead. Eraserhead, oh boy, what's his quirk? He's getting all soaking inside. He said he can take away other people's quirks, but he's got to look at them. He said, oh, so, and he's throwing good hands. He's like, so does he have like an enhancement quirk or something? He's like, no, not necessarily. That's just, and the dude that's talking to him is like a little big dude, just to make it a little more, you know, fit for what's going on here. He's like, nah, brother, that's 100% hard work. Hard work? No, not hard work, but it's like physical training. And he's like, physical training? And then like, he has like this fucking epiphany where he's like, physical training? And then he's like, that's it. Why did I sleep on this? Like, why did this not come to me sooner? And so with him doing that and shit, he thinks about it and he's like, that's it. That's all I have to do. And so what he does was he goes home, and this is a young Midoriya. So he's got a lot of time. He's got a lot of energy, right? And he does some basic training. Now to sidestep it, what is he doing at school? Instead of just crying and taking the bully, he tries to stand up for himself. But he's a little smarter too. So the school themselves don't care about bullies and stuff. They don't do nothing, right? So eventually he gets to be known as like the I don't know what the word for it, but it'd be like he would still get bullied, like Kachan wouldn't like that nigga because he would be like this quirkless nigga. But he would still fight back. He would still get folded, but he would fight back. But what he's secretly doing is he's getting that training and fighting and get somebody with a quirk. So before they get to high school, he's still, this is the training guard. This is like kind of like part zero, but not part zero. So he's looking up training things. He begs his mom. He's like, please, mom, please, she knows he's getting bullied. So he doesn't have to say it, but he's not soft anymore. Like, instead of just giving it, I mean, excuse the pun, but instead of just taking it, he's like, I have to do this. So he goes to a different martial arts school. And for the time being, I'll keep it simple and say like he knows a decent amount of karate. No. I'm trying to think of it. I don't know the necessarily style, but we'll say he knows disarming styles and styles that involve using the opponent's momentum against them. Like if you threw a punch, I would take that punch and then like push you down, that type of stuff. And he's also been doing some basic like strengthening training to like where he's hitting a board with like a rope on it and punching that. He's doing that shit like every other day. He's doing it for his elbows, his knees. He's doing all that shit every day, working hard, doing that, right? So by the time he gets to high school, what he does was he doesn't really want people to know he has handles because he wants to use the element of surprise to his effects. Like he's smart. Like the kid's really smart. He takes time, look at the people's quirks and be like, they can do this to make it better. They can do this to not do this. He will use gadgets, but that only corresponds with his fighting capabilities. You follow me so far? So with this, high school comes around the corner. And then him and Kanchan's fought a few times, but this is where it really gets juicy. Then the teacher's like, but he gets bullied, but most niggas don't fuck with him because he folds them. He doesn't fold everybody, but he puts up just a good enough fight to where they don't want to mess with him. And plus you got to remember, most people don't train. They just rely purely on their quirks. So this is what makes this dude have some good hands. And this is where respect is put on this young Midoriya's name, right? So he folds a lot of people. Him and Kanchan, he had stopped fucking with that nigga because like he gave him a scar on his like left eye just to add some cool. They were fighting, and I want to say this happened when they were younger due to the fact this is where the grudges come in. They be like, so anytime someone's like, damn, how you get that ugly scar here for? He'll get real mad. You know how he is. Deku! So we moving on, and then they like, yeah, there's two people that want to go to UA. He's like, don't put me in the same bracket as much of these users, Kanchan. And then Midoriya coming out the cut, he's like, who's the other person? He said me. He has confidence and he has aggression because he said, all right, if Eraserhead can do it, I can do it too. Now don't sleep on All Might now. He still fucks with All Might, but he respects Eraserhead because All Might is just, he has a strength quirk. He doesn't say this, but it's kind of like a little side thought, like he probably trained with his quirk, but he doesn't have to work for his quirk. If you're in a world with superpowers and you don't got a superpower, or your superpower is basically like a psychic ability, but you have to work your physical just to use it, he respects them a lot more. He respects hard work. So he's not Rock Lee because he's not overtraining. He's just training to the point where he can counter quirks. And hold up. There was a person, but he's not overtraining, but he puts in a lot of training. And by the time he gets to high school, he doesn't really carry. I will have him use some gadgets. I will repeat this kid. He will use some, but I mainly want him to focus on the hand aspects and the actual fighting. I'm not going to use this what if like he knows how to use chi or like hockey or something. There's other people that have done it, but I will have a different take on it because the concept is good, but people be really missing some juicy points or some juicy stuff. But back to the story. So after he stands up and says, yeah, I signed up with UA, is there a problem with it? And then Kanchan stands up like, what, you trying to fight? So before anything else happens, he comes up and like Midoriya is a lot faster, right? And so what he does is he comes up and actually, let me put a side note, something that just came to the mind. He was smart because Midoriya, he wears a lot of weight, but he doesn't wear too much. Let's say for right now, he's got like a clean 20 pounds. And like he got like a whole bodysuit. Since this is anime, I can make it to where he has like a whole bodysuit, and each leg, like, okay, the torso would be like, I'll keep it light while he's young because I don't want him to be OP just yet. So let's say it's just all in total, it's 20. And then he has like some stuff around his arm. That's about 10, you know, that type of stuff. We keeping it light, keeping it light. Actually, let me go this way so I can finish the video. So he goes in, but he moves dummy fast, right? And you gotta remember, most people don't physically train their body. He's endured a lot of hard training. And when I say hard training, I'm gonna mean it's a blend of self-taught and stuff he learned from, you know, senseis and other people, right? So he goes in, moves fast, and then punches Kachan in the stomach. And if y'all don't know who Kachan is, it's Bakugo, the explosive court kid. And I'm just in case some new viewers or some people that just never watched the show. He comes in, punches him, and then grabs his head, knees him, and then grabs his arm and does that famous little backflip. Not famous backflip, but the arm pull over. And then he does that, boom, breaks the desk. And then he gets like his foot over his throat and said, I'm going, and you're not stopping me. Because what type of hero, and this hits him deep, right? He's like, what type of hero puts down other people? If I'm so weak and so quirkless, how did I take you down? The room is silent. Everybody is shook by this statement. No one knows how to react. And then he told the teacher with a dead, cold stare, I'm leaving home. I'm not feeling well right now. And then he throws a small, slight insult too. I'm sorry, I feel a little dirty touching things that are beneath me. And then this is funny because he planned for this, because you gotta remember this kid, is it getting blurry on me? This kid is smart. He is a tactician, but they don't really show this too much. So I'm gonna bring this quality that is already present, bring it more to life. He prepared, okay, hold up. I'm gonna end the video soon, but I do wanna get this like last bit out. So what ended up happening is, they're like, he realizes Deku, I mean, not Deku, but you hear in the background a roar. Deku! He's coming out, he's angry. Explosions are going everywhere, but it's not like a big body, it's just small. You know, when they first started, he's not super strong. I'm gonna end your life. And then right before he gets there, he throws this little powder, this little thing. And then you don't hear nothing. There's another big moment of silence. And then you look back at that Kachan, and he's cold. Why am I so cold? He said, yeah, just as I thought. Your quirk is good, Deku says. It's real nice and all, but if you can't sweat, you can't really use it. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. This Deku is not an asshole. He still is a kind-hearted person, but the only difference is he has the balls to stand up for himself a lot early on, okay? So he's like, just as a thought, don't worry, that won't kill you or anything. It'll just help you. And then he gets real close. It'll just help you calm yourself down a bit. And then he said, listen, you're gonna really need to calm down with this, because if you keep attacking me, I'm gonna have to really hurt you. And then for a moment, he let his guard down because that made him more angry. His body temperature just rose, and somehow he was able to get an explosion up. But due to that training he did, this will be a classic moment, right? So he sidesteps. And remember, a lot of people didn't know about his bullying and all this stuff. So I might end it at 15 minutes. A lot of his bullying and stuff, right? So he sidesteps because he goes for an explosion. So just imagine, if you're not looking at me, just imagine he went straight for a normal explosion, right? So what Deku does was he pushes in, goes for a sidestep, grabs the wrist and the forearm, pushes it back into his face. Like, let's say his scar is on his left eye. He aims it at his right eye, which I don't know why he keeps going for the eye, or the face, and then he shoots this big explosion, but not super big. And he's like, and then he trips him. And then like kicks him in the back, you know, some insult with injury, and kicks him into a desk and says, I now know what my hero name will be, Quirk Slayer. And that is where I will end part 1. So if y'all do like that shit, let me know, cause like I see people loving these what ifs, not my what ifs, just other people's what ifs, and you can easily do shit with this shit. Like, but let me know if y'all fucks with this shit. If y'all fucks with it, I'll keep releasing it, and then I'll get it a little more professional and a little more better. So signing out, the black guy.